What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. Bunch of stuff to talk about today. Some pretty exciting things. And of course, everybody's going to be pretty much all over the place looking to see if a Nintendo Direct gets announced ahead of this rumored 11th date that we have for the Direct. If it doesn't get announced today, obviously there's no Direct tomorrow. So hopefully, with all these different hints that Nintendo seems to be dropping, they're just having some fun right now, it seems like, on Twitter. Hopefully, by the time you either see this or later on today, we do get that Direct date, time, and everything. Hopefully it's the 11th tomorrow and, not too late or anything during the day, maybe like 1 or 2 p.m. Eastern time, somewhere in there. But we have some stuff I wanted to go over with you guys today. Also, you guys must really want the Zelda statue because we went from 70,000 almost 75,000 very, very quickly in a little over a week. So I'm glad you guys want it, and you'll be pretty happy, I think, with the next one that I have planned as well. But for today, let's get started. So we're going to start today with Coalition and Story Lab Productions. Now, if you don't know these developing companies, one is a multimedia company, specifically Story Lab Productions, and the other, the Coalition, they develop Gears of War. So if you know Gears of War, you've played a Coalition game. And what really happened that was very odd was over the past few days, some things popped up on Story Lab Productions' website that confused and excited a lot of people. See, they seemed to put up this page that talked about them working with a new IP with the Coalition, not a sequel like we would expect, Gears of War 5, because, everyone knows at this point Microsoft's known for Halo, Gears, Forza. It's pretty much been joked about enough to where, okay, there's always going to be a Gears, there's always going to be a Halo, and there's always going to be a Forza on the horizon, pun intended there. But it's to the point where it's almost, it runs on a schedule pretty much. You can set your clock to it. But what really got people excited was, wow, could Coalition really just get to work on something that's brand new, that maybe they get to come up with? Or sure, maybe there is a designer in there who's helping them get everything worked out from like a story or scope perspective, but how cool would that be if someone like Coalition could come in and build a new IP that is specific for Microsoft? It's just the big thing that a lot of people criticize Microsoft for is, hey, you're doing sequel after sequel after sequel. Why don't you take a chance on something new? Phil Spencer has specifically said that is something we are doing. It just won't materialize for a couple years. Once you start a project, generally it takes anywhere from 2 to 3 years to have it kind of get to the end, get to the finish line. It's not like you form an idea in a game and then the next day you're announcing it. It's not like that. So at this point, unfortunately for them, it might be, well, the end of this generation before we start seeing new IPs materialize for the follow-up system. But despite this slide, I guess this page being up there, Microsoft is pretty much sticking their guns that no, the Coalition is they're focused on Gears of War, and they confirm this to Games Radar, saying that they're specifically on track and they're focused 100% pretty much on Gears of War. So this is leaving a lot of people to speculate. Did, say, Story Lab Productions accidentally put this up there? It's a very weird accident because now that page is down. It's almost like Microsoft was like, no, don't let anyone know that you're doing this. Won't this be a surprise down the road? Or maybe the Coalition has a team set aside to kind of work on a new project, and then when they finish next Gears, they can really all dive into it. It's a lot of speculation now. I've even seen people throwing out things like Perfect Dark could be what they're working on. Not about that, because that's not technically a new IP. A new IP, I guess, would be something that you develop from the ground up without any real name recognition. Think of something like Horizon Zero Dawn. It didn't have any prequels or anything to it. It was like a brand new game that they came up with, concept and everything. So I would like to see them take a shot because I think Coalition can do some pretty cool things away from the monotony that is Gears of War. Sure, maybe you like it, but you have to admit it'd be pretty fun to see them try something new and get a new IP under Microsoft's belt. But we'll have to wait and see. I don't know if this is something that's planned for the near future or the far future, but right now it seems like Microsoft is more focused on developing games that probably won't be out for a while now. Next up, let's talk about a trademark. We talk about trademarks all the time. Whenever these are renewed or filed, people get really excited because a lot of people believe, I guess it kind of makes sense to a degree why they would believe this, but they believe that when a trademark is filed, that company is ready to use it right now, like right away, or they've already been designing or developing an idea for the trademark, and they're doing this now to then launch the game in a few days or something. In this case, this is really cool because it kind of caught me off guard as well. Nintendo refiled or renewed, in this case, 1080 snowboarding. Now, we did just have 1080 Avalanche, say just. It was a while ago, 2003 on the GameCube. Then, of course, we also had 1080 on the Nintendo 64. For a while there, between those two generations, it was a Nintendo snowboarding game, and it was a pretty fun game. I know it was kind of middle of the road for a lot of review sites, but it was fun. The problem was, it was around when SSX was out, and that was the snowboarding game, right? Like SSX Tricky was a lot of fun. I think SSX 3 was really good too. I remember I just played a lot of Tricky back then on the PS2, and I think I also had it on the GameCube at one point, but that was it there. 1080 was a competent snowboarding game, and I would like to see them take another shot at it. Does this mean that it is coming back? Not necessarily. This could just be them doing maintenance to keep their IPs, you know, on lockdown just in case they do want to use it. Or hey, maybe they do have an idea. Really, it's anyone's guess. Maybe they're ready to unveil something. I would just stay with, this would be really cool to see this happening because, I mean, there's not a ton of snowboarding games out there. Steep, I guess, but do we even think that's coming to the Switch at this point? I mean, it was fine on the other systems, but Nintendo, sure, why not get a snowboarding game, go cash in 1080 snowboarding and get that on the Switch? I think it'd be fun. Next up, let's talk about Microsoft's achievement system. The Xbox One, or Xbox in general, has been known for their achievements. It really started what ended up being this big achievement trophy craze that took place, and people are still wanting achievements to a degree on the Switch as well. Even Steam got in on the action by giving you achievements, and it's done pretty well ever since. Now it looks like Microsoft is working to really build on that user experience. Now, people like Mike Ybarra have kind of hinted at altering the achievement system, maybe adding more to it, fleshing it out some. And according to Windows Central, that's exactly what they're doing. They're introducing something that appears to be called Microsoft Career. So when you have your gamer profile, you will then also be able to level up, according to them, and you'll also be able to get loot from loot boxes. I know, right? Loot crates, loot boxes, great. System level loot boxes, can't wait. But if we don't have to buy them, that's fine. Although I can tell you now, they'll probably want you to buy them as well. That you can also earn through games. You level up, you get cool stuff for your avatars, and I guess life goes on. It's just one more thing, one more carrot on the stick in front of you. No word when this is going to be happening. It's still kind of in the preliminary phases, although there is a full career.microsoft.xbox URL that's up and everything, so they've pretty much already named it. It's just more of a, still kind of a behind-the-scenes situation right now. According to them, you'll also be able to do things like prestige, I guess, as you go through, and you'll probably get new symbols. It's just more stuff you can get just by playing your games. I'm all for achievements because I think that it does give people a reason to continue playing games that maybe they wouldn't go for that next mission, or maybe they finish the full storyline and they would normally move on, but if I finish all of these side missions, I get this achievement, I get this trophy. You know what? It gives people that extra carrot on the stick to go after. And I like the idea of a level being tied to your account, kind of like what Steam does. Steam does this already kind of with it's not as fleshed out as what they're describing here, but it is to a degree where you earn achievement points, you get badges, and you also build your levels as you go. It appears right next to your Steam name, and I like that system, and I wouldn't mind seeing it on the Xbox. All right, next up, let's go over this whole Rainway Confusion. Now, if you missed this, Rainway is coming out soon. We believe it's at the end of this month. I'm pretty confident it's January 20th, 2018. They've been filming a lot of B-roll footage and putting together a big commercial promo video, and that's going up on YouTube today, actually, 10:30 Eastern time. You can check it out, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. They should have that up there. It's according to their Twitter account. And on the lead up here, they've changed their site. So they changed it up because they're expecting to launch and then have a bunch of people go to it. They want to change it up to where I guess it's easier for people to navigate, to use the service, and have a better experience. Well, people on Twitter, specifically one person that I saw, John Cartwright, kind of noticed something, I guess, that he thought he noticed, but it seemed to be a mistake. However, this is what he tweeted out on Twitter. Rainway has deleted all information regarding Nintendo Switch. Act shocked. So what do you think that one tweet did? You would think probably not a lot. It seems to be a person on Twitter who's just tweeting this out. Well, it got picked up by quite a few websites that were reporting news on this, and it seemed to be the consensus was, I guess Rainway is getting away from the Switch. I even saw some people say Rainway's never actually ever talked to Nintendo. Now, I can tell you that from a personal standpoint because I've talked to Andrew Sampson about this. I even did a full interview, if you guys remember. They have absolutely talked to Nintendo. There has been some back and forth there. Have they been successful? I can't tell you. I'm not sure. I just know there was an initial contact and an initial response, and they've gone back and forth since then. Again, I can't tell you how the talks are going, but I can tell you absolutely they have talked. But everyone kind of started saying, well, I guess Rainway's just not coming to the Switch, and it turned into this big thing online. I contacted Andrew and asked him, what's going on? Are you guys still trying to get to the Switch? And he gave me this statement. Nothing has changed in our attempts to bring Rainway to all platforms. We've been very transparent and clear about the Switch. We built the proof of concept, got it working well on the Switch, showed Nintendo, and now we play the waiting game. They have not said yes or no, and our focus moving into 2018 is purely on web mobile. We find it sad news sites ran with an unsourced and unverified claim. Our website doesn't list any specific platform because it is device agnostic. Our site never contained specific information on Switch, nor does it contain specific information on any platform. We are committed to creating native Rainway applications on all major game consoles, the Switch included. Our new site is simply getting ready for launch on the 20th. Now, some other sites decided to use like the Wayback Machine, for example, which is a site that takes snapshots of websites. So if you change them, you can go back years even and take a look at what it looked like at any one time. It kind of caches the page and just keeps it there, again, like a snapshot or a picture. And they couldn't really find any instances of them specifically using or saying, Switch with logos for any of that stuff. And it looks like they're correct. The site really hasn't changed in that regard. It's more move stuff around to try to make the experience more user-friendly. I feel like it's something they've worked on in the background because when they launch, they don't want people to get really annoyed when they go there. It's kind of been more of an advertisement up to this point, and now they want to turn it into an actual user experience since, the service will be active at this point when it launches later this month. As for, I guess, what the person saw, I'm not really sure. I guess maybe they saw the site change and they couldn't find anything about the Switch specifically, so they just assumed that, wow, Switch stuff's been removed. Andrew even still has stuff on his Twitter, him playing it on the Switch, so it seems like they're still trying to get it on the Switch and everything. What's going to happen with it? I can't tell you. It seems like they're just communicating with Nintendo, trying to get it on there, and it's really going to, again, like we've talked about before, be up to Nintendo. It just doesn't seem like any actual, progress, negative or positive, has been made. It's still pretty similar to where we were before. It's just their website changed completely. That's about it. So it was interesting to see so many news sites pick this up, and most of them have now deleted their sites. I went back to try to get screenshots of some of these, and they just go to broken links now. So I don't know. It happens, I guess, online. It's very easy to make news circulate very rapidly, even if it's not completely true. Just know, I guess, they're trying to get Rainway on the Switch. As of now, it is launching later on this month, absolutely for PC, and then we'll see about PS4 and Xbox One from there. And in our last bit of news, I want to talk about a little bit of some retro news here, because this got me excited from CES. Now, of course, I've talked to you guys before. CES has been ongoing. They're showing some ridiculous computers, showing some awesome looking TVs, $30,000 projectors, stuff that you probably won't be buying in stores, especially not for the everyday consumer, but it's more like this is where technology is now, is the idea of CES. It's not really to sell you something right now, just to show you, hey, in like 10 years, this technology will probably be cheap enough for everyone to buy, you and I. So it's kind of something where they show us the sweetest monitor, the best looking projector, and we're not going to be buying it. But hey, in a while, we probably will be able to buy it. It's kind of like how 4K TVs were a while ago. Anyway, one company that's there, Hyperkin, generally develops things for the retro market. They've done things like the Retron 5 that plays several different game carts, like Super Nintendo, Nintendo, Genesis, Game Boy, Game Boy Advance. They generally make the clone systems. They also make things like controllers, stuff like that. Well, they showed off what appears to be a proof of concept, and apparently they're going to be selling it later on this year for a full Game Boy that is compatible with any of your cartridges. That means the Game Boy Color, and it looks awesome. It looks so similar to the old school brick Game Boy, and it's fully aluminum. Has a backlit screen that apparently has the full RGB spectrum. It can be turned off. USB-C. That's right, USB-C type charging. I love USB-C, by the way, especially if you have like the Switch or a Galaxy S8 or a Nexus phone. You know exactly what I'm talking about. USB Type-C is awesome, and I wish everyone would move to it already, because that is the future, is USB Type-C. But it's going to be fully backlit, 6-hour battery, and it's looking to ship later on this summer, so summer 2018, for less than $100. I love the idea of it not being plastic. It's aluminum. I generally will pay more if it's better build quality, right? I'll pay $80 instead of $60 if it's guaranteed not to be a junky, I can move it in my hand, I can bend it in my hand because it's all plastic. It makes that, that cracking noise when you do that. I'd much prefer something that's solid for a little more money. I like this approach to build something for people like me who like Game Boy games, and maybe people even who collect stuff, to have this really cool clone system. So it's very exciting to see, and I look forward to when it gets into reviewers' hands. I'll even get one and we'll take it apart just to see what's going on in there, but looking forward to it. It's also the volume rocker, contrast, the contrast rocker, everything. Dual stereo speakers. Man, it's going to be exciting. Hopefully it works well enough in terms of emulation and everything, but we'll have to see when it comes out. That's apparently later on, summer 2018. That's the Hyperkin. I believe they're calling it the Ultra Boy. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for Newswave today. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, guys. Really helps out. If not, hit the dislike button. Leave a bunch of comments down below about anything we talked about today. Whether it is maybe you're really excited to hear that, hey, 1080 snowboarding, I haven't heard about that in a while, and they're renewing the trademark. If you have any plans for that, let me know if you would like to see maybe a revived snowboarding game from Nintendo specifically. Sure, they probably have some other company build it for them, like a developer that they have. Maybe they use an in-house one. But would you like to see something like that happen? You know, I wouldn't mind it. It seems like it'd be a cool game to have brought in. I've been all about trying to get skateboarding games back, like a Skate or a Tony Hawk that's not terrible. But hey, snowboarding is very close, and I wouldn't mind seeing them take a shot at that. Also, let me know what you think about the Rainway situation. Do you want it on the Switch? Do you not care as much, and you're like, I'll just get it on a PC as something I guess I can use when I'm away from home? You know, maybe you have a laptop or something you take with you, not your gaming rig. And then, of course, let me know what you think about this Game Boy or even Coalition possibly making something other than Gears. Would Microsoft try something other than the Halo, Gears, and Forza formula? Let me know down below, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully, like I said, by the time you've seen this, a Nintendo Direct has been announced, or probably pandemonium will take place on the internet. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time.